Hi from Ellerslie. My name is Mel. I don't know how much or even how you've been thinking about this Thanksgiving weekend coming up, given the season we're in, but for our hope for today, I'd like to help us use this season to perhaps rethink Thanksgiving. We tend to think of Thanksgiving along two lines, I think. For some of us, it's about getting together as a group for a festive meal. Well, this year that might not be an option, or at least a wise option. For some of us, Thanksgiving is all about a list of things we should be thankful for. Well, perhaps that is still a good option and a really good exercise this year, but what if that list is not quite the list we would like to have? Does that taint our Thanksgiving? This Sunday, in our final teaching on finding our way back to God every day, we're talking about the God of grace. It is what we should be thinking about on Thanksgiving because the attitude behind Thanksgiving is gratitude. The question is, do I have a grateful heart? And the word gratitude, grateful, is from the Latin word, which is also the Latin word for grace. Giving thanks can simply be fulfilling a checkbox duty. Did I send a thank you card or an email? Check. Having a heart of gratitude is deeper. A heart of gratitude is a heart that is continually filled with, empowered by, aware that I am living in an environment of grace, of the God of grace. To get ready for Sunday, as we'll talk about the grace exchange that makes us into thankful people, I'd like us to reflect again on the words of Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 10. We looked at that several months ago, as he talks about how he preaches to his own heart about living in gratitude, living out of grace. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 10. But by the grace of God, I am what I am. And his grace to me was not without effect. No, I worked harder than them all. Yet not I, but the grace of God that was with me. But, he says, by the grace of God, I am what I am. What Paul is not saying is, God made me this way, so I have to accept it, and so do you. Paul has just said in the previous verse that he is the least of all the apostles. He doesn't deserve to even be called by God as an apostle. He's overwhelmed that God, in his grace, has given him that calling. I'm not here because I earned it. I'm not here because I deserve it. I'm not here because I'm gifted for it. Those all may be true. But if those are what we focus on, what we want people to see, if those are what we depend on, they will all lead to having to continue to prove myself, to defend myself, to protect myself, to force myself on others, to feel like a failure and beat up on myself, or live in fear that I'll be busted as a phony. The gospel, the good news is that God, in his grace, through Jesus Christ, has elevated me, has lifted me up, has given me a status of security and significance. So, what do I do? Do I just sort of let it flow? Just relax? No. By the grace of God, I am what I am, and his grace to me has not been in vain. In fact, Paul says, I worked harder than all of them. Grace elevates, but truly understanding that I live in grace also motivates. It inspires Paul to be a doer, a hard worker. Paul works. He works hard. But he works even harder than others with thanksgiving because he has a whole different motivation. He works out of gratitude that he doesn't have to prove himself, that he has been given what he doesn't deserve, that he doesn't have to look around and get frustrated because God has not given him what the next guy has. Whenever I get weary, whenever I get frustrated, whenever I try to force myself into something, I look into my heart and say, am I working to prove something about myself? Am I working to get approval? Or am I working out of a heart of gratitude for God's amazing grace? And when I do that, I discover that grace not only elevates, grace not only motivates, grace actually empowers. But by the grace of God, I am what I am, and His grace to me was not without effect. No, I worked harder than all of them, yet not I, but the grace of God that was with me. Thanksgiving is a great time to ask myself, am I living in the rhythm of grace? The ocean of grace, the unstoppable power, unending supply, the unfathomable richness of the God of grace. I hope you're looking forward to sharing Gratitude Sunday with us at Ellerslie. God bless you.